This is a demonstration of Alpha Anywhere's new universal installer. This really nice tool is a single program that now allows you to install any one of Alpha's different applications, their servers, their development environments, etc. And more importantly, it allows you to manage and install multiple versions in case you want to test them on your local system. And as it is, it's a standalone program, so I'm going to go ahead and start that program here. It will go ahead and launch the program. I'm going to give it administrator access since it does installations. So as you'll see, it's opened up here and it's actually notified me I have updates. So the nice thing about it is it's going to track what my current versions are in my system and what's available. Now I have already installed a couple things on this particular machine. I have two things. One is the developer edition stable build. This is sort of the official build out there. It's one of our official releases. But also down here, I have one of our nightly builds, which are essentially the pre-releases that allow you to do it. And you'll notice both of them are installed on my machine here. And in fact, I can get some more information about it. So I'm going to scroll up here. You'll see this is where this is installed at, and this is where this is installed at. It also tells me when it was installed and what the current version is, but also it tells me if there is an update available. So if we look at this one first, for the stable edition, there's actually a new version available that is that I can install, so a newer version. Now I'm not going to do that because I want to keep that stable build stable. I have projects working on there and we'll leave those be. But I also am noticing, oh, we have a nightly build, and you'll notice that we have last time I did this was Tuesday, and now we have a new version that's available. Now I can immediately do a couple different things. First is I can click here and see the release notes. So if I'm curious what's involved with this, all I have to do is click on there. And you'll see it brought up a browser with the nightly release notes here. And so we can see that information here. Similarly here, if I click here, it's going to open up and it's going to show me the production release notes. What are those new release notes and what's there? So I can go find that documentation about what these different versions include. Now, a couple other things I can do here, which is really nice. I have a log of the events that occurred, like when I installed stuff. But also, what's really nice is I can just do updates right within the system. So for instance, with the developer edition, I want to be able to update that often. I mean, I'm playing with that. It's a way for me to get to understand how it works. So I can literally click here and say update. It'll ask me if there's any permissions, for instance, subscription agreements. I'll click OK. And it will start that process of installing that particular version in my machine here. So as you can see, it's going to give me some indicators down below. I'll go ahead and scroll down here of the different components that are being downloaded and installed over the current version for this particular item. So for instance, with the developer edition, it's just overwriting that. It's not touching the files involved with my regular release. So I'm going to pause for a minute. I'll come back when all the installation pieces are done. Now that it's been completed, you can see that it's telling me the update finished successfully. And I have the new version on my system here. Now, what's nice also is I can use this not only as an installer, but a launcher. So let's say, for instance, I want to use this particular product, the developer edition. I can then click launch, and in a few moments, it's going to find and launch that particular version into my screen. So I can start developing using that version. Thus, what's really nice about that is I can make sure I'm opening and using the proper version for whatever particular project I'm working on. If I'm doing something production, I will go ahead and use the other solution. If it's non-production, I'll use this. It kind of helps me keep organized. I'm going to go ahead and cancel and exit out of here. Again, if I click launch here, it would launch that version that's installed on my system. Now the system will go ahead, and I'm going to go here to all files, will automatically put links for that in here. So you can also traditionally launch it however you would like to using the normal method. But I tend to use this one now and keep it open. And that way when I launch, I know I'm launching the correct one. So there's no doubt in my mind I'm working with the right version for that particular task there. A couple other things here is that you have also more information where you can reinstall that. So if you want to do a complete reinstall, you can click that and it won't do a patch, it'll do a reinstall. And you can also click modify. And when you click modify, this will have different other options that you can set during the installation that allow you to kind of customize that installation there. Now, one other thing I want to show you is this is the universal installer. So if I go to available, you can see that here are all the different products that are available. Application for IIS, the application server, etc. And I can install those on this machine and use the same technology to keep them up to date. So that's very, very handy from that standpoint. Now, one last thing is you'll notice here we have 3 types. We have stable, preview, and nightly. And this gives you a description of each one in terms of what you're installing and what that means. So these are kind of newer terms, so it's important for you to look at those and understand those, and you'll find that they're fairly obvious once you get to know them, but you want to make sure you understand exactly what you're installing for each of your products. So that's the Alpha Anywhere Universal Installer. I am loving it. I think it's a great new addition, and I hope you will enjoy using it yourself and leverage it because it really will simplify a lot of things you do in terms of keeping your additions up to date.